everybody. Welcome to Decluttering Cookbooks with the Dough Doctor. Since our show is on hiatus, I decided today to do a decluttering video with you guys, just chatting, just talking about different cookbooks, and really looking at what I'm going to keep and what I'm going to let go.
But first, coffee.
Guys, just like our clothes and our shoes, sometimes we have cookbooks for someday cooking that we're not actually ever going to do, or cooking and baking that's from another life. I know I've had several past lives. I'll be in and out of frame. I'm right here. I have my cup of coffee, make a cup of coffee or tea, settle in, and let's look at some really wonderful cookbooks. So get comfy, let's get started. We're going to start with the first shelf, and as I go to the second shelf, I'll move the camera down. And also, I have a little cart here, and the ones that are going to be donated are going to go on the cart, and then eventually, for the final, which I won't torture you guys with, I'll reorganize the bookshelf and have final photos attached to the end of this video. So let's tackle our first shelf. Leave me comments if you see books like, "Chef, how can you get rid of that?" or "Yeah, chef, let it go." Then leave it in the comments below, okay? So we're gonna start right here with Christoph Felder's Patisserie. Now, this is a great book. It's wonderful step-by-step photos by a really renowned pastry chef. I do use this a lot for research, and I'm keeping it. The next one I'm keeping is the King Arthur Baker's Companion. This actually has a new edition out right here, and if you have, this would be one that I would tell you guys I would recommend, plus the Felder book, quite highly. So this one is I'm keeping. All right, so now we have this messy basket, and the books are going to fall down, and that's just the way it is. All right, I'm going to put acting books. We're not going to deal with those quite yet. So the next book is the Antoinette Pope School of Candy Making. And this one I'm going to keep because my grandmother went to the Antoinette Pope School. I have never actually made any candies out of this book, but I have to keep it, so that's staying. Now this one, The Art of Petit Fours, for those of you who are in my cooking and baking, have been in my cooking and baking classes, or maybe you're currently in my class, I do teach Petit Fours. This one I bought at Kitchen Arts and Letters in New York. It was $35. I'm definitely keeping it. Now the next two I bought in Italy at the Rizzoli bookstore in Milan. This is Luca Montersino, and he has a YouTube channel for laminated doughs. He's a super sexy Italian pastry chef, and I do love his stuff. The recipes are in Italian, which I have to translate since kind of a pain in the tuchus. I forgot what that is in Italian right now, but that's okay. I'm gonna keep these. And then to piggyback onto them is a book on crostata or tarts that I bought the last time I was in Italy. So keeping the Italian books. And then this one, my sister-in-law, my former sister-in-law, really lovely, lovely, lovely Leo, who lives at the farm outside of Milan. She runs a bed and breakfast there, so if you want to go, let me know. I can send you the deets. But she sent me this is Just Apple Desserts Bakers, Just Apple Desserts. Amazing. All right. Now next one, this one is going to go. This is Not Your Mother's Slow Cooker Recipes for Two. This is by a wonderful food writer, Beth Hensberger, but I have the full-scale versions of this book. I don't need to keep this one. I've held on to it for a while, but I think I'm capable of scaling down recipes, so this one is going to go. So it's on the pile there. This next one is hard for me, Marshall Field Gourmet. I literally grew up at Marshall Field's department store in Chicago, which had wonderful restaurants and a bakery. My mother got her hair done there every Saturday for most of my childhood, and I had the run of the store. So this one I'm going to keep for a while, so that's going on the keep pile. If you grew up in Chicago or around Marshall Fields, which is now a shell of its former self, since Macy's took it over, let me know in the comments. This next one is a unicorn. It's valued, last time I checked, it could have gone down. This book was valued at $275. This is Bashor, Antonio Bashor, really gorgeous, just everything. This man spins straw into gold as a pastry chef. He has YouTube, he's on Instagram, and then he's also on the teaching site Schoolinary. So you can catch him there. That's a keep. I could not afford to replace that. Again, I'm getting acting books. This is like quite a mess. Chef Gina gave me this lovely Italian cookie book. We were gonna like cull some recipes out of here for some Italian cookies. That's a keep. This one, fondant modeling for cake decorators. And I will hold on to these for a little while. If you want anything I'm giving away, you just let me know. You pay for the cost. If you send me the cost of shipping, which is cheap, or a donation, I'll send it to you. I don't care. This one is going. I don't know in what fantasy world I think I'm gonna sit and make fondant little figures, but this is going, okay? Next one is Nick Malgary's Perfect Pastry. This book is a copy of, I had his original book from way back when. I love Nick. He's just really a wonderful cookbook, baking book author. He's getting up in years, so if he makes an appearance or teaches a class in your area, just go for it. He's also on Craftsy.com. He's got some classes on Craftsy, a basic dessert class, and then a strudel class, which is really a fun activity to get your baking friends. So that's a definite keeper right there. Now the next two books I'm gonna let go. I'm obsessed, I talk about it on the show, with cake mixes. You know, I think they're really fascinating, but I can get these books from the library at any time. They will be delivered from the Central Library in downtown Los Angeles to my local library within 48 hours. So Cake Doctor regular, Cake Doctor chocolate, they are going. So they are going on the gold pile. Again, I'll give this a couple days, and if you want the books, you let me know. Just pay me for the shipping and I'll go to the post office. This next book is How to Bake Bread by my friend Michael Calante. We haven't kept in touch. I think he's baking in France. I almost said France. I meant to say France, but I really recommend Michael's book because I think he's got so much cogent advice in here. I do believe when he wrote it, he thought it was gonna like kind of take off a little bit more the 5 families of bread. I wish that it had. It is really a wonderful book. You can see how used. Mine is falling apart, you know, and just really wonderful. I really like this book, so I highly recommend. So that one I'm keeping. The next 3 books were linchpins of my married life cooking. The Fresh from France series by the Santa Monica cookbook author Faye Levy, right? She is just amazing. Her recipes, even though these books were written in the 80s or 90s, you can see, look, I used to write my name in books, Colette Christian, July 92. So I don't know, I'm torn. I am a society of one. I am not married. I am single. I don't even have people over for dinner. So this is going to be in the maybe pile, both the dinner and the vegetable creations. I have bought these for wedding gifts because if the bride or groom, doesn't have to be, or whatever, you know, brides, grooms, whoever it is, isn't comfortable with cooking, these are really great books to start meal planning, especially if you like France and you're into it. So these are in the maybe. Faye's dessert book, which is Fabuloso, I have never used, but I had to have it. This is going. The recipes are great. Again, this is one that I could get from the library, so I'm gonna put it in the go pile, all right? Because I can't stand the mess anymore, bakers. I just can't. Now these 2 books are like they're like unicorns, baking artisan breads and pastries. I believe they're out of print. They're from the renowned baker Cyril Hitz. These I will keep because they're just really awesome. I didn't use them as much as I thought I would, but maybe thinning things down, then I actually will, because they're so good. They're so old. There's a DVD inside. Crazy town, really crazy town. You know, when we think about that used to be normal. All right, we are done with the first shelf. As you can see, bakers, it's empty. So I'm going to stop the video and adjust the camera, and we'll go on to the second shelf, okay? All right, bakers, we're back. I'm having a sip of coffee, so just relax, and we're going to go to the second shelf, and we're going to go through these books. All right, I feel revitalized. The first book I'm going to pull out and show you is The Art de Viennoiserie and Tarts. This book was $95 and another unicorn, really hard to find. What I like about it, and I'm keeping it, the recipes are in French and English. So that's on our keep pile. And then I have notebooks from different Jean-Marie Aubouin classes and Chef Notter's Fundamentals of Sugar. I actually have 2 of these. If anybody would want one, let me know. I'll send it to you if you pay for the shipping. And then I used to clip clippings out of newspapers, and I have a couple notebooks. These were definitely absolute someday recipes. I did this when I was married the first time, and I don't know, these are gonna go in the maybe pile. I may be really brave and let them go. Next is my bread journal, which I'm gonna keep. Next is Jeffrey Hamelman's bread book. Absolutely, I can't live without Jeffrey Hamelman. I have 1 copy of my Mastering Macaron book. This is available on Amazon, so if you want a great macaron book, buy this one. Thank you. And I'm just gonna say it, I'm not gonna be all coy. I found this book at the library book sale. I got it for $0.25, and I found some, inspiration from it. So I don't know, it's gonna go in the maybe pile. This book I bought in London, and I read on the Eurostar going to Paris, or maybe it was Scotland. I read this thing on a train, and it's got great ideas, and it's super inspiring. I love the photographs, and so I'm going to keep it. It's part of my macaron thing. Now this book, this one, my mother gave me. It's a little notebook. She bought it at Lord & Taylor in Chicago when I was 12 years old, because I was cooking already. And so here's my little, handwriting from when I was 12 and making meal planning before meal planning was a thing. I'm gonna have to tie this together, but my son might want this after I'm dead, so I'm gonna keep it. It's gonna go in the journal pile. Remember the little slow cooker book that I got rid of? I said, oh, I've got the big one. This is the big one. Again, it's Beth Hensberger. Look her up. She's kind of awesome. So we're keeping that because this is Society of One. Another slow cooker book I bought for $1. But since I'm a Society of One and I'm only cooking for myself, I make a lot of dishes in the slow cooker. I can work all day, I can film, and they cook away. I bought this for $0.25 at the Huntington Thrift Store to benefit Huntington Hospital, which has kept me alive for the past 15 years because of breast cancer and really great care. So I'm gonna buy that, try to frequent that store. Now this one I might let go, and I have had a death book on this book for decades because it is just so good. It was the first book of its kind, making all sorts of things from scratch, but I have not touched it in years, and I can always get it from the library. If I double check and I make sure the library has them, then I'm like, okay, I can always get them. This Artisan Bread book by Eric Castell from the CIA, circa 2006. I love the way it's written, but I have not had good luck with the recipes, all right? So, yeah, I don't know. This is gonna go in the maybe pile, because if I wrote a book, I might really like to write it like this. I mean, not exactly like this, but I might, or I could photograph the pages, so I could do the layout that way. But horrible luck with these recipes, and I have some skills, so I kind of wonder about it. The next one is the 1970s version of the Antoinette Pope School cookbook that my grandmother went to, and I'm keeping it because this is my only connection to my grandmother, who was a wonderful cook. This book is my food photography Bible, From Plate to Pixel, by Helene Dujardin. I am keeping it. This one is great. Anything from the French pastry school in New York, which is now closed, bakers just keep. This is the dessert book. I'm keeping this. And then Chef Daniel, my ex-husband, third husband, Michelin-starred, incredibly talented Chef Daniel. He bought me this one, and this one was very expensive, and I'm very grateful. I really love their books, and they're great for teaching inspiration for me. So I'm keeping it so I can make you guys, help you be better bakers. This one is a unicorn. This is staff meals from the long-closed Chanterelle restaurant in New York, David and Karen Waltuck. This was another someday book. This was when I was married. I was going to just cook my way through this, and now I'm single. I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna do. It's gonna go in the maybe pile because I really can't see myself busting out meals. Now, I'm really hard on my books. I write in them, I'm messy. I mean, I'm a very tidy cook, but I really love my cookbooks, and I consider them purchases for life, and so I don't think I could really sell it for very much. So it's gonna go in the someday pile. You guys may know that I was really into pulled sugar for a while. This is the Stéphane Glacier book, and it is a unicorn. I bought this at Kitchen Arts and Letters in New York, and I'm gonna keep it, even though right now I'm not pulling sugar, but you never know. In fact, Chef Baker has my pulled sugar box, but I bet if I had to do something, he'd loan it back to me, and I gave it to him because I thought he would use it more than me, and he's so talented, just put as many things in his hands as possible. That, you know, we want our stuff to go to good people, right? This one I bought for $1, and I love it. It has every chiffon pie you could imagine, and it's just kind of fun. It's a real slice of life. I mean, before I was born, but you just gotta love a good vintage cake and pie book, bakers. You know, just so much love. So this one I'm gonna hold on to for now. And then a Fay Levy dessert book. Fay is our Santa Monica food writer who wrote the incredible Fresh from France series. This book she wrote all about chocolate, and it's super elegant. I have never made anything from this book. Total someday. And my first husband, Big Craig, loves chocolate, so I got this thinking I would bang out a bunch of chocolate delicacies for him out of this book, and I have never baked out of it. So this one I'm gonna check the library. The library can get it to me for when I just have to have it, then it's gonna go away, all right? Fay Levy, Chocolate Sensations. All right, bakers, our second shelf is clear, so I'm gonna turn off the camera and regroup the camera, and we'll go on to shelf 3 of our little rickety bookshelf and our cookbook decluttering. This is how it's done. All right, bakers, we're just down to the last couple cookbooks. I won't torture you with the sewing books, but this is my baggie of ancient cookbooks here. And then look at this one. This used to be the only croissant book ever in print, the quintessential croissant. I'm gonna keep that one. I'm gonna keep this sad bag of recipes for now. And then I also have, I really like this Complete Mediterranean Cookbook. One of my neighbors found it in the garbage. They dump stuff here quite a little bit, and so I like this book. I've made a couple really good salads. It's from America's Test Kitchen, so we'll keep that. And then let's see, what else do we have? This beautiful French specialty decorative breads. I actually wanted to become a host or judge on a bread show that I don't know if it stopped production or how far it got, but it was called Bread Art. So just in case they call, I will do this. And then Fancy Pantry is just a wonderful canning book. And I promised Big Craig when he helped me move to the apartment that I would can again, because he has moved the canner now. You know, he comes and helps me when I move, and he's wonderful, and I appreciate that. And he's moved the canner so many times, he said, you better use it. So we gotta hold on to this. Cooking Under Wraps, this is a someday book, and I'm gonna let it go. Nicole Routhier, the author, fabulous French chef. She's also Vietnamese, so she has wonderful Asian influences. This was a total someday. I was gonna do brunches with, you know, blintzes and live this fabulous life like Ina Garten, entertaining with my, you know, husbands and everything. And guess what? Didn't work out that way. And I can get this book from the library. The Central Library has 3 copies, so we're gonna let this one go. The last one, which is really annoying, sorry Cooks Illustrated, I'm just gonna let the fur fly. This is Bread Illustrated. None of the yeast is ever hydrated, but it has a really great range. The glue really sucked. Sorry, I know, I'm saying that. The glue sucked that they bound this book with, and it fell apart. I'm gonna let this one go because I can get it from the library, but I was really, the recipes are pretty good, and I had success, but man, that fell apart on me, and I am just not happy with the yeast. Sometimes we don't want the yeast to always go into the dry ingredients because the yeast doesn't get a chance to hydrate. Don't get me started, bakers, so this is gonna go as well. All right, that's it for the baking and cookbooks. I'm gonna clean everything up and make it pretty. Bakers, the decluttering is done. I've reorganized the bookshelf. The books can breathe again, and I feel very inspired. It's no more mess. And then I have a pile of books on the floor, which I'll keep till Wednesday the 16th. So if there's any I mentioned in the video, you know, just message me and we'll work it out. Thanks for hanging out with me while I decluttered those books, and have a wonderful day. Happy baking.